I'm Kirsten McGregor. I know it's been a while since I've done a live stream, but I am here today to respond to some questions I've received about what is the one thing you could do if you want to incorporate economic resilience into your regional strategy. And I would say that one thing would be industry diversification. So, what does that mean? Right. So if you are dependent on any one major employer or any one industry, you'll want to diversify that, which of course is easier said than done. Um, and another thing to think about is if you are a tourism-based economy, you wanna be able to diversify within tourism itself. For example, islands that were dependent on cruise ships, now they've learned, with the recent pandemic, to be able to diversify their tourism industry. So I think that that's another important thing to look at too. You don't need to abandon the industry altogether, but look at the industry and diversify what you're focused on, what your economy is focused on as well. So how do you do that? So again, it's not that easy, but you want to make sure that your local talent, your local workforce is available and trained to be able to pivot to other industries or other employment within. So, for example, with tourism, if you're focused on a different part of tourism that they have the resources and training available to change employment and upskill or reskill, and that's in it of itself is a lot of work. But with that comes your business attraction strategy, and if they have talent and if they have workforce and they have the resources and assets, that's a way to draw them in. But it you do need to work at it. It just doesn't happen overnight. Um, Another thing is having that site readiness for whatever industry you're focused on, or again, if it's within an industry, for example, if you're a tourism-based economy, but you want to not be so reliant on cruise ships, but you're looking at charter vessels. So then that means you need to start looking at perhaps investment in marinas and moorings, et cetera, et cetera. So that site readiness for real estate is really important. I think normally we think about that in economic development with site developers with broadband and utilities and cost of energy and having access to roads and utilities to whatever site available. But it's having that situational awareness of what your new industry needs. And finally, with that supply chain of your local small businesses, it is important to have access to capital for those small businesses in your region to support and those ancillary support for this a new industry that you are trying to build, or if it's within an existing industry that you're trying to perhaps diversify a little bit more, that they have the resources and training, including the workforce that I mentioned before, to be able to build on that. So again, all this costs money and actually more than anything takes champions. So I think that that's the most important part is making sure that if this is something you're going to go after, it does take work and takes work with local champions. It can't just be done from the federal government. It needs to be done locally. So having that federal money is important, especially any sort of uh, philanthropic local share as well. So there's a lot to it. I'm oversimplifying it, but this is a question I've had a lot actually, people texting me on LinkedIn here. So, anyway, I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have additional questions. And again, it's the industry diversification is probably the main thing you need to look at for becoming more resilient with your economy. Thanks so much. Take care, guys. Bye.